Hi, good evening all. In this video, I want to compare the Sabres to certain cultures of other teams. Coming up. All right, folks, in this one, I just want to have a talk with you. I'm going to get more active tomorrow, guys. I just want to get a heartbeat into the channel, throw a video out there, maybe catch base with you guys a little. I've had no time. I just haven't had no time. I've been busy with God knows what at this end. It's been a hectic time of my life. So, look, I want to go over a few things with you guys that I think are important. You know, we talk a lot about, let's face it, all of us have. We've all talked a lot about the culture change of the team under Adams. We've seen the change overall. And I think a perfect example of what we don't want to be, okay, is the Vegas Golden Knights. We're watching how they're treating their people over there, and we're watching just how they lie to their, basically to their staff and tell them one thing and then do another. And we can't get away with that. We've gotten away with a lot of stupid stuff the last 10 years that we know of. You know, we were letting players decide who's going to coach the team, you know, and things like that. And if you're going to have a healthy organization, before you win a Stanley Cup, I guarantee you that that Colorado team internally is very healthy. They're not just a bunch of good, talented, spoiled brats. That team is a united team that were the worst team in the league not too long ago, about 5-6 years ago, right? They were the worst team in hockey, and they completely turned it around because internally they're healthy. And I think that's how it's going to be with us. If we're internally healthy, folks, I honestly believe that the end result is winning. Eventually. I mean, it might not be right away. It might take some time. We really hurt ourselves. We put ourselves over and over and over in stupid positions. And guys, I can't tell you enough how karma has come back to get a team like Vegas. You guys have heard lately about Robin Lehner, about him being out for the season. Is it any coincidence, guys? And I ask you this, is it any coincidence that this guy was shooting off his mouth, taking shots at our organization, and then inside of a year later, and yakking about Jack and all this stuff while it was happening, right? And inside of a year later, over there, he's out for the year. They've let go of their Hall of Fame goalie, you know, to bring this guy in. Let's face it, they did. And all of a sudden now they're kind of in a bind over there. And it's no surprise. And I guarantee you somebody like Leonard is probably he's just going to go and have his tea and watch TV. He doesn't care. He's getting paid. Why should he care? But the actual organization itself is going to feel it. And, you know, you don't just go and join a franchise. I think this is maybe what Jack Eichel did. I think he was thrilled to go there because he figured he's going to land his fingers on a Stanley Cup. And he's going to get a lot of the credit for it, he figured. All these things, I'm just guessing, and I'm probably right, that all these thoughts were going through his head when he left here. But when you are dysfunctional, and we were a very dysfunctional franchise, let's be honest, we were the joke of the league for a reason. Not just because of the losing guys, it was the internal mess that we continue to do. We let in general managers that just thought it's okay not to value draft picks and things like this. And all of a sudden, it looked like a bottomless pit, guys, is what I'm saying. Not that long ago, before Adams took over and said, that's it. We are stopping all of this immediately, and we are shifting focus. The immediate thing we're fixing is the culture. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to fix it, you know? And this is no fluke that there's a team now that the guys like to play in Buffalo now. There's a difference. There's a different feel. Why do you think Dahlin caught fire all of a sudden in the second half of last year? He caught fire because he's finally in an environment. Forget having Stanley Cup pieces around him. He doesn't have that yet. Not yet. When he does, he'll be dominating the league, guaranteed. He'll be dominating. I'm planning on doing a Dahlin video tomorrow, guys. We're going to look at some things about Rasmus Dahlin. But now that we have the right attitude in place, okay, things can flourish. You know, a plant's not going to grow if you don't water it. It's kind of that simple. And the team wasn't, we were sitting there and waiting for somebody else to do it. Everybody's sitting in a room and they're, okay, well, you know, we had a leader that wasn't a leader and was making all the money, and he did not fulfill any promise for this team. Let's face it, he didn't. And he wanted to get out because he realized he was exposed basically as a fraud as a leader. You know, he just wasn't a leader, this guy. And that was our bad, though, for giving him the C. That was our bad. We never should have done that. So hopefully now we'll make the right decision when it comes to those decisions, and I think we will. I trust if they give Tuck the C or if they give Okposo the C, I just trust the organization now is making the right decisions. Because before I didn't trust. I didn't. Everything was a zoo. It was a joke. Everything was upside down. And that's when you can tell the effects it has, right? When you don't have the right guys running your team, you see the effects. We felt it as fans for a decade. We felt it as fans. It wasn't a fun time for any of us. Whether we agree with certain topics or not, who gives a damn, right? That's just about somebody's ego if they want to argue something. I don't care. Could care less. But one thing we could all agree, and I'm sure, was that, you know, it wasn't a very pleasant situation since Lindy and Darcy Regier gone. Really, since that time. Since that time, if we're going to be brutally honest, the team just went straight down. And we thought tanking would be the answer, which backfired right in our face because Edmonton got the champ and we got the dud. And that's basically what happened. That's what happened. Edmonton got the superstar, we didn't, and we paid the price for that. I know we tried to do the public opinion thing and try to cover it up and give them a nice big juicy contract and all this and that and say all the right cliches, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. No, the wins and losses didn't change. So you're paying millions of dollars for the same exact record. And if you're doing that, you're doing something wrong. Now we have a team that's alive. We're paying them, you know, we're paying roughly ballpark about $20 million under the cap for this team. And we have, and in reality, it's more like 25 if you take away the Bishop contract in reality and the Cody Hodgson buyout. I mean, there's still stuff there, that free money that we're going to cash in on next year, not this year, next year. So there's an extra $5-6 million sitting in the bank, guys, that we don't even know about to sign all our players next year. So don't worry. Adams has this. He does. He has this. He knows what he's doing. I'm a believer in him now. He's got me sold, guys, and it's not because of any other reason except I just feel better about being a fan again. I feel like there's a big light at the end of the tunnel now. I mean, I see what he's doing with our prospects. It's out of this world. Guys, we were a joke in the league, and now, a few short years later, under Adams, we have the best prospect pool in hockey. He's doing something right. He didn't take the Jack Eichel deal and try to secure his job. He took the Jack Eichel deal and tried to secure the Buffalo Sabres, is what he did, with less money and the same amount of losing, really, you know? Telling the fans, it's going to take time, too bad. I mean, that's not what Adams is saying. That's something I would say. I wouldn't be a good GM because I would be like tossing out the wrong cliches. But Adams just smiles and says it's going to take time. You know, he's got his plan. He doesn't care if Pegula comes into the room and says, we need to get in the playoffs this year. He's just going to look at him and say, I'm not changing anything. Like, you know, he's probably that type of guy. He probably is. You know, off behind the scenes. You guys seen Fortin, how he reacted towards him. I mean, he makes everybody feel good about their jobs, folks, behind the scenes. You know, the analytics guys. Oh, everybody just seems to like Kevin Adams. Everybody seems to be in sync with this plan. So we are on the right track. Something I wanted to toss out there. Just talk about tonight, guys, and just want to do a talk video tonight. And I'll get back to my numbers and all that stuff tomorrow. But tonight I want to just throw a video out to you, have a little chat with you, and go over things that kind of been rolling in my head because, you know, he took an absolute mess. I think we've been over this before. He took the worst stage of our entire history and turned it around into what we have right now, which is why we value as fans what we have right now. You know, the fact we feel secure about our future. When was the last time we could say that years ago, guys? Throughout the whole Eichel era, there was no time. None. There wasn't. It was always the next year, the next year, the next year. Then we caught on what was really going on, which was nothing, right? Now we can kind of see into the future a bit. What's coming? What could happen? What might happen? What we hope happens, which of course is an eventual Stanley Cup. And we're never going to win a Stanley Cup, folks, if we try to run our team like the way the Vegas Golden Knights are running their team right now. We know the dumpster fire that's going to happen over there. We know. If any fans know what's going on in Vegas, it's us, because we know the mistakes they're making right now, right? We know. Yes, they could make the playoffs this year. Yes, they can be competitive. No, they can't win a Stanley Cup. They're not near a cup now. That team is not near a Stanley Cup right now. They're done. The Stanley Cup dream is gone. The playoff dream is still alive out there. I was looking at their prospect pool, guys. It's not good. It's not good. Their pipeline is not deep. They're making mistakes. They're way overbooked with money. There's so many mistakes they're making over there that I relate to. You know, how they are too easily think a first-round pick can be traded. I mean, what was Botterill thinking trading one to get Montour, right? Or Murray thinking when he did that to get Robin Lehner on our team. So you can't do these things and expect to have a successful franchise in the long run, because it will backfire. We have a GM now, guys. I would challenge any general manager in the entire NHL, to try somehow and trade, try and get our first round pick from Adams somehow in a deal. It's not going to happen. I'd be surprised this year, guys, if Adams makes a deal and trades our first rounder. I'd be shocked. Shocked. Because that's not part of his plan. He's going to stick to his plan, this guy. It's like he had to make a plan, guys. I'm going to end here. He made a plan, guys. He had to escape out of jail, is what he was put into. Kevin Adams, when he came to this job, was thrown into a position of incarceration. He was thrown into a prison term, and he had to serve it for these other general managers because he didn't want to be a rat, and he wanted to get things straightened out on the outside before he goes out there again and survives. And this is basically what's happened. So this is where I'm at with it. I think Adams is doing a great job when it comes to the culture. I think it's something we should not assume. It's something we should just be grateful for, because that is what has been killing this team for a complete decade. Was the mental breakdown of that team in that dressing room was probably poison. Way too much, way too often. So on that note, folks, that's it. My rant is done. I just wanted to compare a little bit about the mess in Vegas. Is kind of what encouraged me to make this video and talk about this, because I see what they're doing over there and I relate 100%, and that's not a good thing. So if you're a Vegas fan, it's not a good thing that Buffalo fans can relate to the mess you're creating, because we know it all too well. All right, folks, I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.